everyone. It's me, Cath Ellis, and I'm here to talk to you today about e-learning portfolios, a topic that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm feeling like my light is very bright and I'm looking very tired here, so my sincere apologies. I'm really excited to see who's tuning in today, and I'd love to. Oh, Tom's here. Very good, Tom. What you're saying, looking forward to some more great insights. That's great, Tom. Yeah, guys, tell me exactly what your kind of Ashanti's here as well. Fantastic. Hi, Ashanti. Very excited to be talking about this topic. Very, very passionate about it. Did a great session with Ashanti last week. I was showcasing her fantastic portfolio, which was built in Google Sites. And she inspired me to go out and try and use Google Sites, and it was just it was a great experience. You know, it was really clean, and they've really cleaned up the interface and from the last time that I viewed it. So yeah, I'm open to kind of going in whatever direction you guys want to go with this episode. If you have a portfolio that you'd like me to look at, and you know, no embarrassment, happy to kind of give you some feedback. Happy to do that. I'm going to try and make this a regular episode, maybe every couple of weeks. We've got Ebony who says hi, Ebony. Madison is saying hello from California. Wow, California. So I mean, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. We've actually had a terrible storm here. We lost power for 5 whole days. And I tell you, I was absolutely lost without power. Rose is tuning in from upstate New York. Hi, Rose. We've got Richard from New Jersey. I used to live in Saddlebrook, New Jersey, Richard. I love New Jersey. So absolutely cool. So let me know what are you interested in talking about. I'm going to try and start off this series. Unless someone's got a portfolio that they want me to look at live, I can talk a little bit about my knowledge from about portfolios. Oh, we've got some more. Jersey loves you too. Yes. Absolutely love New Jersey. Andrew says hello from Sydney, and we've got a Brizzy boy, Chris. How you doing, Chris? You've been here before as well. Oh, Blissful Helen, Brisbane, yay! Oh, we've got a few people on today. This is a good one. So yeah, I'm going to talk about a few things. I mean, I have had a portfolio for a number of years. Way before it was cool to have a portfolio, it was kind of a nerdy thing to have. And how I started using it was just a regular blog. When I was working on the ships and I was traveling, I would just write blogs. And as I came into this field and started creating more content, hi, Jennifer, how are you? She's saying hello too. I started thinking a little bit about my own presence out there, and I thought I'm just going to scrap it and let me consider putting some bits of work on there. I started to curate some content. So I went on to Theme Forest, and I don't know if you guys know Theme Forest, but it's a great little well, it's not a little, it's a massive platform. Let me bring it up and I'll show you. Just going to go to Theme Forest. So Theme Forest is part of the Envato ecosystem, and I went on there, and I actually looked initially for a template that would be good as a resume. So let me see if I can actually find it. I should have been more organized. Got Joe, hi from Texas. Kiddo, bedtime here shortly, so we'll have to catch the replay. No dramas, Joe. So you know, I basically started off looking at Theme Forest. Make this a little bit bigger, and you know, this is where I went to kind of see some examples of different portfolios, looking at different themes. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the simplest thing that you can do, and straight through to, if you want to kind of go the full hog and want to host your own. So I've been hosting my own website for a long time. But I'd say over the years, I've had so many dramas. I've had someone steal my website, actually make a full copy of it. That was a total nightmare. I've had people trying to hack it. I'm constantly, I just used a new program the other day in which I'm trying to hide ways in for people there's people honestly trying to hijack the website and put malware on the website all the time. And I'm constantly on YouTube searching for ways, new ways to overcome this. So having things hosted in the cloud, without doing it yourself, doing a Squarespace, doing a Wix and even going down the route of a Webflow is certainly going to be an easier way. It's going to relieve a lot of this pressure. But anyway, so this was me. This was a number of years ago. I already knew the WordPress ecosystem. And let's see if I can actually find it. So I started out with this resume template. And it's probably going to be quite old. I know it was very popular at the time. But you can see, even if you just wanted to put a resume online, there's different options here that look great. If you look at something like this is built with Elementor. Let's just have a quick preview of this. I bet this looks not bad. So I was kind of going to Theme Forest to get inspiration and to consider how to reformat my blog. So this looks okay. It's got a little bit about the person, services that they offer, some pricing, experience, education, design skills, language, coding, reviews, client, portfolio, contact. I mean, that just shows you. So that's $23, right? So this would have been the first thing that I did. I think mine's probably a bit old fashioned now, so I won't even go and try and find the theme, but it was something along this lines. And at that point, I actually was having businesses reach out to me, are you available for work? And I said, well, no, I work full time. However, this did me to start myself off. It gave me a presence out there. Key thing, it made me think about keywords, and my SEO just kept getting better and better. So if we have a look at this template again, think about all the keywords that you'd use in a portfolio here, and Google is just starting to rank them. And I'll talk about SEO maybe in another episode, because I'd like to focus on SEO and kind of talk to you a little bit about what are the tips and tricks to ranking quite high in Google. And you're not having to pay someone, you're not having to do anything other than think about the keywords that you use in headings, in your body text, links in, links out, things like that. But this looks really, really nice. You think about, again, all the keywords that you're using in your services, and this would have given me a great idea of how to present my content. So I used this until probably a year before I went out as a freelancer. And at that point, I actually went to the website that I have now. So those of you who haven't looked at my website, it's cathellis.com. And I again, was quite strategic when I bought my domain names. I said, rightio, I'm going to buy cathellis.com, I'm going to buy cathellis.net, cathellis.com.au, cathellis.design. Just wanted to curate as many of them as possible so that I had them. No one would, but obviously you can't buy all of them. How you going, Daisy? Lovely to have you here. Got a good question here. What's your take on buying a domain versus using what they provided? Do you know what? There's no harm in it, right? So if you buy, if you're starting out with Wix and you use one of their domains, you can do that. Personally, I think it's a for the little investment that there is out there to pay for a domain name. So I go to Crazy Domains, but I'm sure there's other ones out there. And it's $20, and that's going to give you a domain name. It's going to give you a custom email. It's going to make you look more polished. For some reason, if I get inquiries through my website now that's not from a business name, I somewhat disregard them because I don't align them as being a business. So have a little think about that. I know it's a little bit of an investment, but I'd say a domain name is a worthy investment. In fact, I'd go so far to say that if you've even got little kids, you should buy their domain names now and get them locked in, because it's much harder for people to find their domain names. You've got a celebrity who comes through with the same name. That's you. You're done. So try and get the domain name if you can and keep hold of it. So yeah, like I said, I go to Crazy Domains. If I'm generally looking at I'm glad that makes sense. If I'm looking for a domain name, I will try and look for .com because there's a premium domain name. And Devlin Peck, someone who I've been talking about this recently, you could buy the .designs. I actually don't think I think you can still rank very high, but you might have to work a little bit harder on your content, because a .com is really the one that most people will use. I mean, .com.au would be exactly the same. You're just going to have to work a little bit harder. So if you're from a specific, if you're servicing, like myself, the globe with e-learning design services, a .com makes sense. If you're just providing services in the UK, .co.uk might be a good solution. There's another thing that I do. I'll give you another tip. I use a program called Name Checker. Let's see what comes up. Name Checker. It's not these. That's this one here. Name Checker. And let's see. I'll go full screen so you can actually see this one. So this one. So what I do is that if I'm considering buying a domain for a business, so I'm thinking about a business name, do I go with my own name? Do I go and actually use another name for my business? What I'll generally do is go to this website, and let's say I have, I'm just going to make a name up. I've got my little pop vinyl here. So let me show you my little pop vinyl of Sergio Aguero. So I'm just going to be very cheeky and use Aguero's name. Yes, I'm a Manchester City supporter. Of course I am. Sergio. Okay, so if I'm going to go Aguero, right, this will give me an indication of what domain names are already gone, and also social media, right? Now, I don't know if this helps, but this certainly helps Me, when I'm working with a company, because I do website design as well. So I'm actually considering, okay, you want this name, but all the social medias are gone for this. So you really want to try and have something quite unique. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the Google ecosystem when they're searching. Does that make sense, guys? You've all gone very quiet. So I want you to give me questions. Quick, give me questions. Or is this helpful? Because I can keep moving on if this isn't helpful. But this is my strategy, right? So I'll go here, I'll look up and I'll see, okay, these are all gone. This helps me a great deal. So when I was trying to build the business with my wife, Co-ability, we wanted something with the word ability in it. We were going through the process, and we landed on an absolute blinder where we put in Co-ability, and there was all the social medias free. No one had taken the domain names. Happy days. So just absorbing it. Fantastic, Daisy. Right. Well, keep letting me know what you guys are wanting. So this is my strategy on, do I go down the route of my name or do I go down the route of a business name? And, as Richie says, it's helpful. Yes. Next, I'd love to see some tips, best practice for ID portfolio, and some no-nos also. Right. No problem. I'll do that as well. And I don't want to shame anyone by showing a website without their permission. So I'll talk maybe through my website, and then hopefully by the next episode, some people will submit their site so we can talk about that. Rose says, do a lot of independent designers use their own name, or do you see a lot of LLCs or DBAs? I don't know those terms. I think they're American, Rose. But for me, I knew that I had my domain name for so long. People were searching for me because I was ranking high before I even had my own business because of just my website. So I use my name. I've had thoughts. I've actually got a business name that I would use if I was going to move on. I'm not going to tell you it, but I do have a business name. But I still, people are searching for Cath Ellis, so I think I'd be a bit foolish if I moved away from that. All right, so let's have a little talk about do's and don'ts. And again, when I was looking initially for inspiration of how are other freelancers or learning designers presenting their information, and I actually felt like some of them that were out there. So this is now 2014. It wasn't being presented in the way that some of the businesses that I looked up to were presenting information. So one of those, for example, that I really, really like is We Are Sponge. Okay. We Are Sponge is a company in the UK. They're certainly one of my favorite e-learning companies that I've looked up to over the years and gone and seen, well, how are you presenting your case studies and things? So if we have a look at, I think it's under, well, we can go into e-learning. Okay, so they've broken down their process. Let's see, is it results? Here. So this is, for example, a VR product that they did with Royal Mail, the British Royal Postal Service. So they've got a key image, they've got a heading, they've got a breakdown here. So again, there's some best practice, I think, with regards to formatting your content. And it can be quite hard for you to do, especially if you're working for a vendor who, or an agency, let's say. You do a project, great project with a big, massive company, Adidas or something like that. and you can't show that content because it is a it's not yours. You're working for the agency. You're just the hamster that's churning this content out. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if I look at how these guys break down their content, they're breaking it down of what was the challenge, right? What was the solution, right? And then it should be what were the results, in which they've used the term, what are the benefits, right? But those are, I would say, the three things you should be looking at doing. What was the challenge? What was the solution? And then what was the result, or what was the key benefit of the learner? Okay, so Rosa said, LLC, Limited Liability Corporation, DBA, doing business as, right, okay. So here in Australia, they call it a sole proprietor, or you're a company. Pretty easy. So I hope this format kind of makes sense. So if we look at another one, and again, I'm not showing you a freelancer in a minute. I'll show you a freelancer in a second. Another one that I really like is Maestro. I wonder if they're Meet Maestro or just maestro.com. Meet Maestro. So this is a great company, and they're in the US. And again, beautiful website. Let's just close that down. They've got this lovely menu. They do really great case studies as well. You can see they're doing mock-ups here. If we have a look at this Royal Caribbean, so it looks like they use Rise. So they, for this scenario, they've got their showcase image of the company. Okay, so they've got a little bit about the introduction. Okay, so what was the challenge? Right. What was the solution? They've even done some kind of images. They've got some stats which is showing really what was the results. And they've got some, well, I'm saying this is Rise. I think this is Rise. In fact, I'm confident it's Rise. So they've done some really nice screen captures here. Yeah, I'll talk about that as well, Daisy. How much to include? Is it possible to overshare? I'd say there is a possibility, so you can keep things nice and succinct. Okay, so they've talked about, this is obviously won a Brandon Hall Award, and they've got a little animated GIF, and again they've got some numbers, but they've really broken this content down in a very palatable way, right? So they've just got a paragraph here. Okay, again, they've got a couple of paragraphs. They're really focusing on imagery. All right, so this is all very well and good, Cath. These are businesses that are showcasing this stuff. How do you get around it? Good question. So you didn't ask that question, but I'm pretty sure it's in your mind. So when I was working for an agency, I went to my boss and I said, boss, I want to put a few things online. How would you feel if I took a screen capture and put it on my portfolio? Because how am I supposed to show that I actually have skills if I can't showcase what I can do? And he was like, okay, look, Kathy, we're happy with you doing one screen capture. Sorry, I thought I'd turn my notifications off. Happy for you to do a screen capture, but I'd like for you to remove the logo. I said, yeah, no worries. And at that point, I'll kind of show you a bit of my early portfolio. I was a bit like, I can't actually do much with this. And I sat and I was chatting to some colleagues, and, one of the colleagues kind of said, what are you interested in, Cath? And I said, oh, I like Manchester City Football Club, and I like Lego, and I like games. You know, I was just shooting out some ideas. And I kind of came here and I did a little, you know, it was a few pages, just had a nice little introduction with music, with a background. And now I wonder if this will actually open. Let's see. It's been a while since I've looked at this. Yeah. So I don't know if it's my internet connection or what, but this is what I did. Came in and I just did this little Manchester City thing, right? And instead of me at that point going so far, so this is maybe going to answer your question, Daisy, with regards to putting too much in. I just said this bespoke quiz was designed to show how the use of images and sounds in Articulate can transform a quiz into something really quite special. And I've got when it was built, client, I just said professional development, response, fantastic. So when I showed it to people, they loved it. Type, e-learning. And here I've talked about what were the things that I did. So Articulate storyline branding, HTML, CSS, illustration, and instructional design. Okay. So we're curating some terms there for Google to start ranking that. This wasn't a project. This was just something that I put in there that I liked. And another example from another portfolio, I mentioned Lego. Kevin Thorne is someone that loves Lego as well. And yeah, I just love it. So created this little minifigure matching game. Again, it was just professional development. So I said, I'm a gigantic Lego nerd. Yes, you heard me right. I decided to create this game using Lego components. It was great fun to build, right? So again, just use some similar terms. And let's see if this opens. I think some of these might be old. I might need to update some of these old ones. Probably going to embarrass myself not having one that's going to load. Well, there you go. So it's loaded fine. Okay. And here I did the game. I gave instructions and I did a little about page. Okay. So like you can do really nice little, oh, Daisy loves Lego too. I knew I liked you, Daisy. And Gemini, host your public files from Storyline and such. Well, I do mine from Amazon S3 for a couple of reasons. It costs peanuts, right? So I can plunk this up on an Amazon S3, dead easy for me to update. And there's loads of tutorials on Amazon S3. If you guys would like to see a tutorial how to set one of those up, I'm even happy to do that one day, show you, right? So I put mine up on Amazon S3. An example, Ashanti did hers in Google. So Google Cloud, not Google Drive, but the next tier up where you can host apps and websites and things. So there's different options out there. So yeah, so this was my way of kind of doing something a little bit fun and still being able to showcase it on the website. And again, I was demonstrating what kind of work I wanted to do, right? So the stuff that, you know, I wanted to forget about, I didn't put on. I wanted to showcase what I wanted to do. So I hope that this is gonna, this is helping you a bit. I'm pretty sure it was Richard that asked this question. So again, I was playing around a little bit. This was an example of one that was through the agency that I worked at, that they said, yeah, we have no problem with you showcasing a couple of images. So this was, I'm pretty sure it was Life Saving Victoria. And this was a storyline course. So again, I was able to showcase a couple of, how many images? I think I did just a few. Yeah. Wasn't giving anything away. Just showing some different layouts. Here are some images from a module I developed for Life Saving Victoria to induct their members. So wasn't putting too much in there like I do now. So let's have a look at what I do now. For example, one that I did more recently, the fallout. So now in my in my proposals, I actually have a clause that says I can show your logo on my website and I can show some images. I don't put the whole Scorm file, never do that. I only do that for things that I build, okay? And I still build things myself that you know, even if I've done a little mock-up for someone and it hasn't turned into a project, I'll maybe pop that on. I might just refine it and make it look nice. So this was one that was an end product, and the client was very happy with me showcasing this. So I haven't gone down the whole route of what was the challenge, what was the solution, what was the result. I've kind of done it in a paragraph. So I've got a few of the assets. So this was the trailer video for it. And then I've got images of the course. I've got the digital badge that I created for the course. And then I've got a testimonial from the client. So for me, this works very well as well. I've got a good question here from Rose. Do you use HTML5 or Xapi or Scorm to publish? Good question. So if I'm putting something on an Amazon S3, it just needs to be HTML5. If I was really particular, I might want to get some data like the Xapi. But I'm not bothered. I've got Google Analytics, so I can see how many people are hitting my website from my web, through the website, and I can even see how many people are hitting that particular page. But a lot of my things now that I'm doing are not live versions. They are literally just images, because they don't belong to me. They belong to my client. So let's have another look. And if you guys would like me to, Richard says, this is exactly the kind of thing I need to hear about. Thanks, Cath. No worries, Richard. You know, and if you've got a portfolio that you're in the process of updating, I'm happy to take a look at it and talk you through it. There's no right or wrong with this. I had a website that I'll show you in a minute with examples of great design portfolios. But these are from designers. They may be taking it a little bit too far. We've got to be careful, I think, in our industry, because we're still quite conservative, but we can be fun as well, you know. So I'll talk to you a little bit about this, about that in a second. So another one that I've done quite recently is this gifts, benefits, and hospitality. And I'll also talk to you about where I go to mock things up. Okay, so I like to have a nice feature image. I use a product called Smart Mockups. And in one of the previous episodes with the LX Collective, I actually showed how easy this is to mock up. You don't even need to, so this is just one that I've obviously had open before. You can upload the image, or you can actually upload the via a URL. So if I go to my website, cathellis.com, I'll put on like a delay so to let it load up, and I'll just go capture. And this should in a minute. Loading. So I can either do it like a full page capture, or I can have it go on a browser. So there you go. Right. And what's nice is they actually preload it on some other devices here as well. So this looks kind of cool. Yeah. So yeah, Troy, awesome tool. Ashanti, very cool. Hi, Troy. So I like this a lot. This is I pay for a premium, but this is well worth the money, to be honest. Time is money. So that's another thing. I know it can be hard when you're spending a bit of money on stuff like this, but when I think about all the time it takes to fart around and align things, and it's easy for me to do this. Like I can literally go from this to technology and go, well, I want it on a smartphone now. You know, if I wanted it on this, again, all I need to do is put that thing in, show you what it looks like full page. Might not look very good, but we'll just have a look. So while that's loading, so I like to have a feature image at the top. And I tell you what, it really gives it a bit of pizzazz. And Gemini said, what is the site name? It is smartmockups.com. Smart mockups. Sometimes it takes a minute to come in. And oh, I didn't click on the screenshot delay as well, so that's probably going to screw up. So this is where I go. There's loads and loads of images. I'll just turn that off. So I want there to be a feature, and I like there to be a really clear indication of what this was, and also a title. Again, I started off doing things like adapt course, storyline course. Now I actually just, what was the name of the course? So I moved from that old format back in the day when I was making my own things to now if I'm doing client work. So I've got this brief. And again, I feel like people are really time poor. They just want something really punchy that they can see. When was it? What have I done? You know, here I actually put colors in. I showed the font. And again, I've just got page layouts, and that's all I've got. So, you know, Troy, would you mind if I show your website? Let's see what he says. Troy's got a great website, fantastic portfolio, and I think is a great example of how we should be, how I'd recommend laying out content. So yeah, I mean, can you guys think about some things that you're passionate about that you could create some content? You know, I love cavoodles. I wouldn't have a problem at all doing some kind of little module about cavoodles, or it might be, you know, something on pop vinyls, right? Like Sergio here. So there's loads and loads of ideas that you can do to make mock-ups. I'd even go so far to say, even if you've got a one-page mock-up of something that you put into something like smart mock-ups, that's at least something that you can showcase. So it doesn't take long to start curating websites. Troy's not answering me now, so I'm going to be cheeky and show his website anyway. And what I'll do is at the same time, I'll talk a little bit about designers' websites. Okay, so I'll quickly go here. So this is awards. So that's AWWARDS. Okay. And this is a website that, again, I'll go to get a lot of inspiration. I want to see how some of the best websites are being used. and I want to see how content is being presented. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Troy's still not answering me. You're off my Christmas list, Troy. So here's some recent ones. If we go to this one, this looks quite nice. It's had a lot of love. It's had 87 likes. So if we have a look at this, again, even things like the way that if you start looking at websites, my net dropped out. Don't you start that, Troy. So I asked Troy, can I showcase your website? Can I just show how you formatted it? Because I really, really like it. I'm just talking now. So we've got this example of a website. It's normally got the visit site button here, so you can go and look at the live site. And they've got a nice little loading icon there. That's cool. Okay. So this is like, whoa, crazy. So what I take when I look at a lot of these sites is I think that just nearly made my website crash. It was so crazy. So what I take from looking at these sites is I look at things like, how have they done the footer, right? You're laughing at me, Ashanti. How have they done the footer? What are the menu names? Because a lot of these things are exactly the same, okay? How are they presenting information? I'm going to jump over to Troy because that one nearly made my computer crash, right? And Troy has got an absolutely beautiful website as well. His is relatively new, so he's been working on putting a lot of new content on. So you really see some primo examples on Troy's website. If you guys want to go and look at it, it's troyashman.com. Okay. So he's got an image of himself. He's got his name. He's got his title. And he's got his objective. So I help businesses achieve their goals with innovative, interactive, and creative learning experiences. And he's got a few call to actions here. So as far as best practice, definitely want this kind of format on the top of your website, who you are, what you do, and then you've got that straight off the bat, boom, get in touch with me, or you might link them off onto going and look at their portfolio. So Troy's got a pop-up here, which is great. So he's obviously had that on a timer, which is popping up, which is great. I'll just dismiss that because I'm already a subscriber. So if we have a look at this as well, there's different ways that you can align your headings. You don't need to do it to a certain alignment. Sometimes you'll see a logo on the left. Sometimes you'll see these to the right. So he's centered aligned these, and this looks really nice. Okay, so there's different things that I do when I look at a website because I'm incredibly nosy. One of the things that I do, and I'm going to teach you how to be a bit curious. There's some Chrome extensions and things that you can use to work out how other people have made things. Now, I want to actually do a session with Troy on re-engineering things, but I always think that this is the key thing that we can do to help us become better designers. Work out how did they do that. So if you look at Troy's website, what you can do is go to what was this built with, right? You just type that into Google, and here, right, you can go, for example, here, and if I type in www.cathellis.com. Right. So it should tell you the plugins that I'm using. It should say, well, you'll get an idea it's WordPress because you're getting this coming up. Okay. It should even go so far, what version of WordPress? Okay. And it should tell you everything, SSL certificate. Should even tell you the theme that the person is using. Okay. You can also say, what theme is this? And you can type in someone's website. So let's say, let's just do mine. So the only reason that things can be a bit different is that someone might hide their theme, okay, or they've had a custom theme built. To be honest, I might have blocked this. Oh no, there you go. So it's telling you the theme and it's telling you the different plugins. So there's tricks, right? And I'd always say, if you're inquisitive about something, right? Someone said they like Troy's yellow, right? I have a little Chrome extension, and again, I'll do an episode on what I use to kind of help me navigate around and work things out. I use this little Chrome extension here that's called Color Pick Eyedropper, right? Now I can just go onto anything and work out exactly what color someone is using. If I want to know what font Troy is using here, I've got this other Chrome extension, and this is called What the Font, which I absolutely love the name. So if I just make this bigger so you can see, if I hover over this, he's using Montserrat. Now, what's beautiful is I can actually click on that and I can go, that's size 60. He's using a bold font. He's using weight 700. This is the color he's using, right? So when you go to these sites, like this site, right, and you go into a project, just like we're looking at Troy's, you can actually work this stuff out. And for me, I'll go, okay, what's the, so it's not showing the line height here. Sometimes it doesn't on all websites, but you can work out what people are doing and you can try and re-engineer it. Okay. Now, again, here you go. Let's see what we've got. We've got a couple of comments here. Trying to transition from 19 years of classroom education. Any tips for how to showcase some of that on my site or just avoid it completely? Okay, that's a really good question, Richard. Okay, so here's a question for you, Richard. Do you ever want to do that work again? If you don't, I wouldn't focus so much on it. Or I'd use things like smart mock-ups, like we were just at before. And I would, so let's say it's a document, right? If you go to all mock-ups, you can actually get other things as well. So you should be able to get books or documents. Document. Right. See, something like this. So you can you could probably mock some bits of work up still have it look fantastic, and mock up some things. It could be an evaluation report that you did, classroom education. So, it could be, I don't know, your subject matter. I'd be trying to think about how could I mock some of this content up. Depends on the age of the students as well. But I try and visualize it as best as I can and talk about it. But if you don't want to do more of it, I'd maybe hold back. He says, I don't want to work in a classroom any longer, but I've done so much work over the years, I fear having very little content to show on my site. Yeah, so I would still showcase different things that you've done. Are they digital? Are they hard copies, soft copies? Think about these things, and then how can you interpret that digitally, visually, and still talk about some of those things. But I'd probably focus on the transition, show what you can do now to move forward, if that makes sense. So Troy, he's got straight off the bat what he does, and he's got some examples which we'll go into in a second. All right, ways I can help you. So Troy's got some of his services, and he's got a call to action to all of his services. Okay. He's got here Testimonial from Shiraz, who I absolutely adore. Okay. So he's got some great testimonials here. He's got some, again, mocked up pieces of work. Looks great. Right. So he's got a call to action here to his newsletter. Fantastic. And then he's got his footer. Okay. And again, he's got his subscription. He's got a sitemap. He's got contact details. And again, he's got his details. And if you actually look at my website, you're going to see so many of these things in a very similar format, right? So I'd say if you take away some of the key things here, remember, people don't have time. Think about what you do when you go and look at a website. You just want straight to the point. Okay, who is this guy? Oh, his stuff looks good. Oh, look, he does all these things. This is great. Oh, this is what people have to say, how fantastic Troy is. Oh, yeah, I want to learn more. Okay, off you go. Great. Now, he's also got dedicated pages here, right? So he's got an about page. All right. Again, he's got a little bit more about his quals. Okay. These are different products that he uses. Very good. Call to action. So again, the best practice is you want people moving about your website. You want to keep them moving. Otherwise, someone might go, oh, well, I've had enough here. Okay. So you want to have call to actions, plenty of them throughout your content. Let's have a look at his services page. Okay. So again, he's just formatted his services. He's got a call to action again. Okay. So let's get to the nitty gritty, his portfolio, because we know how awesome his stuff is. So he's got mock-ups on devices, which I'd encourage you guys to use. Now, Smart Mockups, I should say, does have a free tier. So you don't have to pay for it. Just the ones with the locks you need to pay for, I believe. It's been a while, but I believe. I'm just going to close that down. All right. So if we have a look at Hot Noodle, let's see how he's formatted this. And Troy had some feedback. Richard, you may be able to digitize some of your favorite lessons in a creative way. That way you can use your favorite content and show off your new skills delivering it. That's a great bit of feedback there, Andrew. Good idea. I'll have to pick a couple of lessons. Troy's saying, if you have the time, highly recommend building some articulate learning heroes challenges and build out some micro interactions for your portfolio. That's right. Just think about things you like. You'll actually enjoy creating content that you're passionate about, Yeah, Joe, Troy's website is absolutely kick-ass, right? So hot noodle. So Troy was one of the contestants in the show, which was an e-learning competition that we did as part of the learning conference. And some of these examples were some of the briefs from that. Now, if you guys want to do some of these projects, you're welcome to do them and put them in your portfolio. So the learning conference website is the learningconference.online. It finished in August. But if you scroll down to here, this is actually what I was looking for, the show.thelearningconference.online. And there's all these different briefs that you can go in and you can basically have a go at doing. Why can't I click on that? There. So you can go through these different briefs and see if you can have a go at them. So this one was one of the briefs. And he's talked a little bit about what he was doing, what the problem was, what the solution was, and what the result was. And he's got date, tools, skills, and he's got explore the demo. And should open up to a working version. I'll let you guys go in there and here we go. It's loading. My computer's a bit slow, so I'll let you guys go and do it in your own time. So I'd certainly say that this is a great example of a website that you should go to and have a look at how Troy has formatted his content. He's got a great color scheme that is working. He's tied it into the image of himself. Again, he's branding himself. Don't feel that you need to go down the route of creating a logo for yourself as well. I created my little Cath Ellis. And again, I took some inspiration from, where did I go to get mine? I think it was Graphic River, which again is part of that Envato ecosystem. And here I just did logos. I looked at different logos that you can buy. If you have Envato Elements, that's another tool that I'm subscribed to. I spend too much on some of these tools. You can look and see what logos they've got in there. And you might find something like this absolutely gorgeous animal. Yeah, you might find something in here that you can use. You might go onto Dribble. You might go onto Behance. And you might go onto Fiverr, Upwork, get something commissioned to be made. What we'll do is we'll probably knock this on the head because I've been yapping on for an hour. I hope that this has been useful. I'll try and do this every 2 weeks because I'm going to do the LX Collective hopefully every 2 weeks as well, which Troy is actually part of. So every other week, I'll do something on portfolios. I'd love you guys to come back. This has been great interaction. I hope it's been helpful. We've got some comments here. Gemini said, I'm building for the challenge too. Some of those folks are overwhelmingly good. They really are. They're amazing. Yeah, just keep doing it, Richard. Just make some things, pop them online. Daisy, what's the general opinion about you including a profile photo? I think personally, people want to see who they're dealing with. I took my own picture. So the picture that I'm using at the moment, I took on my phone. I removed the background. I put a blurred image. Again, I know this is easy for me to say because I do this every day. I'm an end-to-end designer. If I don't know how to do something, I jump on YouTube and I'm always playing around. The whole point of the Learning Pro Live is to try and expose you guys to people in the industry, share new tips, show new technology, and just try and share as much as I can. Okay. So if there's something that you guys want to learn, let me know. If I can't do it, I'll find someone who can do it. Okay. But I hope it's been helpful. I'll be doing this on a regular basis. We might do a whole session on logos. We might do a whole session on these things. Richard said, thanks so much. Hearing your viewpoint and expertise is a great help. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. Joe, agree. Hard to get up the courage to apply full-time job until my portfolio is perfect, but you can't. You've just got to jump in. And even if you start out with a couple of one pages, it's giving people the confidence that you understand layouts. Okay. You can build on that. Even if you've just got projects that are half done, mock them up, put them up, talk a little bit about them. Even if it's just a paragraph. What was the challenge? I wanted to build an interactive game that would do this. I built it in articulate storylines, the solution. And I've tested it on LinkedIn. The solution, what was the result? Feedback came back that it was very engaging. Doesn't need to be an end product. Just get something on there. Andrew says, thanks so much for sharing, Cath. Got a lot of useful tips today. Right on. Awesome. Guys, I'll wrap this up. Thank you so much. It has been brilliant today. If you have any more questions, if you're watching this on replay, put them below. Put the questions below. Joe, thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you here. Jennifer says, this has been awesome. You're so generous. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. It's been brilliant. Put your comments below. I'll personally make sure I come and answer all your questions, and have an awesome day. Or if you're going to bed, pleasant dreams. Okay. Adios.